Welcome back, everyone, on this Tuesday edition of Sportscall. Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, and Andy Graham here with you till 6 o'clock today, and we want you to be part of the program, and we'll have some more trivia questions coming your way. But at this time, we want to go to the phone line and welcome in Coach Jack Crowe. And, Coach, thanks so much for being part of the program.
Sure. Appreciate the opportunity.
Well, Coach, let's start with this current Auburn team and your perspective on where this team is today, because obviously with all of us being Auburn fans, we hoped for the best going into the season, and you heard different prognostications of, we'll be happy with 7 wins. We'll be happy with getting to be bowl eligible. We'll be happy with improvement and closing the gap in the games against Alabama, Georgia, and Texas A&M and LSU. And to have Auburn at 7-1 right now, heading into the Arkansas game, number 11 in the country, I think has shocked everybody.
Well, when I went down there in 1982, having been an Auburn fan, from my youth, there are things that are just residual about the Auburn program. I mean, it's a great environment, and it's a great university, and players want to go to school there. So the bottom is never very far down, is what that means. I mean, I know I talked to Pat Dye. We both sort of shared our perspective. I went to spring training. I talked to him before the season started. We both realized that, hey, they got players there. Now, are they better than everybody else's players? Right now, they're not. But there's a baseline of really quality players there. And I think they've got I'm a little prejudiced. I mean, there's coaches on that team that coached for me, that even played for me. There's a strong Arkansas connection from when I was in Arkansas there. And so between, sort of knowing the baseline of Auburn from when I coached there and was a fan, and my oldest son graduated from there, I just felt like, and I told everybody coming out of spring training, a lot better than everybody thinks they are. Now it comes down to performance, and I think that, Gus has done a great job of getting those guys ready to go play. I mean, they're doing a fine job of coaching, but it's about Auburn tradition. It's about that campus, about those fans. Auburn is Auburn. Never going to be very far away from being a top 10 team. I don't care how far they look like they are. They're never going to be that far away.
Well, Coach, Auburn is doing a fantastic job running the football this year and putting up numbers that resemble some of the numbers that you put up as an offensive coordinator back there running the wishbone. Talk about maybe the differences and similarities in production, but doing it a different way.
Gus and the offensive line coach there is J.B. Grimes. He was my offensive line coach at Arkansas. And the running back coach is Tim Horton, who played for me on those Arkansas teams. And so, and Gus, I know, I'm not real close to Gus. I don't want to be misleading about it, but I followed him. And, he, as much as people use the word spread, I mean, Gus is a downhill running football coach, not unlike we were, in the wishbone, and we were in the I formation there with Bo the last year. I mean, I know those three people, Gus and Tim Horton and J.B. Grimes, they're going to make it physical. They're going to use the old Pat Dye slogan, we're going to hit you in the mouth. We're going to make you put 8 down in here, and we're going to have a play-action passing game when you try to do something about it. And then we're going to have a mobile quarterback that can get out on the perimeter. And, so we're going to attack the depth of field, with a play-action pass and hit the big pass. And we're going to beat you up in this box, and we're going to get this quarterback get on the perimeter. I mean, they've got a great offensive concept there, and I think they've got in Ellis Johnson a guy that realizes they're going to score some points, and it's not about statistics anymore. It's about having one more point than they got when the game's over, and that's the way they're playing. And of course, the kicking game is going to be the difference going forward in these 4 big games. I love the 60-yard punt return, even though the boy shouldn't have run it out of the end zone last week against Florida Atlantic. But it showed a real aggressive attempt get where the kicking game can be the difference in these, in these inevitably close games that we've got coming in these last 4 games.
Well, Coach, you're taking part in the Coach's Cabana with Rob Pate. Tell us a little bit more about that and how that's going.
Well, it's going good. There's a concept out there that people want a more interactive experience. When they're watching a game, they want their commentary. We were sitting there watching Texas A&M play, and you got a Stitchcomber who's a Georgia offensive lineman. I promise you, he don't love Auburn. You're getting your commentary from people who are programmed and not particularly loyal. Rob and I both, we love that place. We have insights into the coaches and into the players, and, it's all based on television. But you do have a choice whether the sound is up or not,
Right.
And you can go to auburnsports.com, which is the rival site, and you can scroll down and point and click. It says Game Day Bunker, and you got Rob and I, talking about it as, like we're sitting on the couch next to you, and we're just calling it like it is. And I'm unsanctioned. I don't have NCAA or SEC sanctions. I'm telling you what 40 years of coaching, being a head coach in the SEC, offensive coordinator in the SEC, knowing personalities, knowing places, I'm not trying to get back to somewhere else. I'm just joining the game as an Auburn fan like anybody else is.
And that's a fun way. Technology, Coach, is amazing on what we've been able to do in the different venues, the different venues we can watch and listen to games and stuff. Now, I want to shift focus to this coming Saturday at 5 o'clock.
Right.
Arkansas is a team that hadn't played really well to this point. They haven't.
Trap game, man. Trap game.
It is. And I was going to ask you about this. An 8-point spread. A lot of people figured that it would have been bigger than that. Nick Marshall with an injured shoulder may or may not play. Arkansas wants this game. They feel like this could be a game to salvage somewhat their season. And Brett Bielema kind of been running his mouth as he has since SEC media days.
He's going to get his mouth shut. I'm going to tell you that, because you might can try that. They got one little issue. They talking smack with some people that aren't going to be intimidated, and they're not going to overreact. So that's going to come back and get him. But the issue right now for Auburn, right now, and I think it starts this game, and I think it goes for the next 4 games, they've got to make a mindset adjustment. Just what you just said. They've gone from being the hunter, and now they're going to be the hunted. Now, when you start being the hunted, you got to get a swagger. And I think, you just got to have that innate confidence in yourself, but also in your coaches and your teammates. No matter what adversity you face, and they're going to face adversity in every one of these last 4 games, that they're going to they're going to respond, and they're going to make they're going to do what they have to do to win. These are going to be great games to watch. People that love college football, but particularly the people that love Auburn football, wow. This gauntlet right here, this 4-game gauntlet, Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama, this looks like 1982 to me. We're moving on to the national stage. Any one of these games can get us, but I don't think they will. And I think there's a step-up moment for Auburn football. And I was down on the field Saturday with Pat Dye. I was part of the 1983 recognition down there on the field. Went to the game, standing down there with Pat. Pat's probably got as good a finger on the pulse of that program as anybody had. I could feel his excitement, about what he was looking at. So I think every Auburn fan ought to be excited. Is there any guarantee we're going to win all these 4? No. Let's play them one game at a time, one play at a time. Let's just see where it goes. So, it's going to be a trap game, but I don't think we'll get trapped, But I think it is going to come down to fourth quarter, it's going to be tough.
Well, Arkansas always kind of has been, as we just said earlier in the program, all-time record against Arkansas is 11-10-1. So two programs that have battled back and forth and about dead even there. So, Coach, we really appreciate you being on the program today. And
War Eagle, man.
War Eagle, and we look forward to having you again, okay?
Yeah, keep my number. Take care, boys.
We will.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach. That's Coach Jack Crowe there. And, again, back in from 82 to 85 was offensive coordinator at Auburn, moved on, Clemson offensive coordinator, and then to Arkansas, and then eventually became the head coach at Arkansas, and then over to Baylor for an offensive coordinator stint, and then finished up at Jacksonville State from 2000 to 2012. It's good to hear Coach Crowe there and his perspective. And Andy, you don't have to worry. He is biased toward Auburn.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like his enthusiasm, and I like his confidence. To call out and say, not be unashamed to say that Brett Bielema has said too much.
Well, and he has, and we'll talk about that here in just a little bit because all that information that came out yesterday with him questioning the film and the way he says it and the way he says everything tongue in cheek. One of the last things he said was referencing to Coach Malzahn, and he said, I don't really know Gus that well, but he said something to the fact that, I'm sure it's a glitch, and I know Gus stands for everything that's right and has great faith in doing things right, so I'm sure it's just a glitch that they'll get to the bottom of. And then, about 3 sentences before that, he says, I really don't know Gus. So how does he know all that about him? So everything's tongue in cheek with him. It's all sarcastic. It's another term that we won't use on the radio, but, they'll have a chance to face off and lay it on the line. And I'll be honest with you, Andy, like Coach Crowe said, it may come down in the fourth quarter. Will you be disappointed? I know we'll all just be happy to get a win on the road, but, they've been bludgeoned the last couple of SEC games. If Auburn doesn't hammer them, you think Auburn may lose a little bit of national perspective as far as in the minds of some of these other pundits?
If it's if it's one of those fluky type wins where they have to score on the last drive of the game, they might, but it's going to come down to whether Auburn can get off to a good start. If it's much like it was coming in this game last year. I thought if Auburn could just get off to a good start, that Arkansas team would quit, because I think they're on that cusp right now of quitting, and because they've, like you said, they have been getting beat so bad.
And if you hit them in the mouth early and take them out, they could fold the 10. It could be another blowout. I kind of hope that's the case. 5 o'clock, ESPN2, this coming Saturday, Auburn, Arkansas. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue to take your phone calls and have Randy back here with us, and we'll continue to move on, talk about how Auburn played this past week against Florida Atlantic, and games around the country coming up this past week, the results from that, and a lot more. Stay tuned. More to come on this Tuesday edition of Sports Call.